Hey, Dead Flame here. I just returned from EDC Las Vegas 2021, and I decided I wanted to share my experience with y'all, as well as some warnings for you first-time attendees before you buy your tickets for 2022. Since they just went on sale last week, and I know they're at that really enticing $20 down offer right now, but take a look at this video first. Hey guys, so I'm making this video to give everyone pro tips and secrets about what you need to have a safe, fun, and non-stressful EDC experience. What you need to bring, what to expect with security, camping, transportation, and more. For those who want to skip right to the what to bring portion of this, there should be a tab right around here, floating around here. That'll take you right to that. For those who want to hear about the beauty as well as the ugly, in a non-biased and unfiltered review, let's get going with it. So I've been to EDC 4 times now. 2013, 14, 19, and 21 now. The first 3 times, we stayed up on the Las Vegas Strip and had roughly the same experience of struggle and pain trying to get to the festival each day. Though, through a side note here, I do know Pasquale created a dedicated bus route in 2019 for the shuttle buses, so I cannot confirm the speed of this. If someone watching can confirm this in the comments, that'd be greatly appreciated. The short of it is, hotel prices are astronomically jacked up for EDC weekend. You could spend the upwards of $2,000 just for the room, plus around $600 for a car rental, and this is all before the festival tag itself. We did this the first 2 times. The third time, my friend had a hookup with the timeshare, so we were able to get our hotel room for about $600 for the entire week. So about $1,200 for car and hotel. Not super bad, still pretty high. However, this is the problem. Traffic is so bad. That week, the last time in 2019 when we had the timeshare, we left at 2:30 to arrive for the 5 p.m. start on day 1. We arrived at 7:15. Yes, nearly 5 hours to travel 14 miles. Plus, you still have the super long commute home every morning, super exhausted. So after all these experiences, I decided, well, for 2020, let's try the camp. This is going to be great. It's my wife's first time going with me since I bought the Desert Rose package. They have air conditioning, furnished tents, nice bathrooms and showers, high security, and the best part, we are at the festival. It's basically glamping. No driving, and all for $1,500. This sounds too good to be true? Yes, it was. Since the pandemic hit, it was delayed for a year, and Pasquale decided to try and get it out in May, and that was shut down by the city. So over half a year later, it's now 2021 in October, and it's time for EDC. We're super excited. We arrived in Las Vegas on Wednesday night, 2 days before the first day. Stayed down on Fremont Street, grabbed some supplies. Got up super early on Thursday. I think it was like 9 a.m. we left. Grabbed a cab straight to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Got there in under 20 minutes and for only $50, which was $10 less than the fare from the airport to the Fremont was. So already we're saving money on the car. However, we'll get to why ride sharing might not be the best way later when you're camping. So we get out and head to the gate. We end up dragging our gear through the gravel of the massive parking lot to the camp registration tent. And I mean dragging it, literally through rocks, wheels getting jammed, Dust all over the place. Thankfully, we didn't break any of our gear, and we didn't have that much with us. But anyway, we get to the tent. We show our ID, badge, wristbands, vaccination cards, and we're through. Absolutely painless. Super, super, super easy. Then we walk another 3 blocks through gravel to the security checkpoint. And here's the part you first-timers are going to want to heed. There was supposed to be super strict rules on what you can bring and what you cannot bring. All that stuff getting into the campgrounds, let alone the festival. Security was literally rushing us through the gate. And I mean rushing us through, like they weren't even checking bags, they're squeezing it, glancing at suitcases, no pat-downs whatsoever. In the past, EDC events have literally been TSA-style security. I mean, they're doing fully pat-downs, wanding, even asking attendees to lift the bottoms of shirts and suit tops to search for drugs. Definitely not this time. Also, no, we arrived around 10 a.m. on Thursday, right after the gates opened. There were reports of later arrivals waiting hours in the line. So if anyone out there could verify this for us in the comments, that would be awesome. So we get in, we make our way to find our site. Signs on the main street weren't up yet, or ever. And the staff didn't seem to know exactly where we were to go. So we figure it out, and eventually we arrive at our site. Excited after the long haul, we open up this beautiful geo tent, which looks a little bit different than the pictures, only to be blasted with furnace-quality heat. I mean, just a blast to the face. Found a box and a deflated airbed with a power strip. You might be saying, didn't he say there was air conditioning in there? Yep, sure did. And it was not there. So, before I briefly touch on that situation, since I'm sure if you're watching this, you've already read 10,000 plus comments, either complaining about this or telling people to get over it, I'm going to describe and show you what Desert Rose is supposed to look like for the $1,500 spent. So, these are what they were supposed to look like. They're supposed to have colorful, reflective flies on the outside. Really pretty, decorative. And that is what it actually looked like. No reflective heat flies or AC. So, the interior. This is what they put up there as their mock-up. Which, I'm no fool. I knew it wasn't going to look this good. It was obviously spruced up for the picture. But it claimed, beautiful bedding, air conditioning, soft floor, electricity, and, nicely decorated. However, to arrive and find that not only it's not decorated at all, but literally an air mattress deflated on the ground with a teeny tiny pump to fill it with. Thankfully, it was an electric one, and we had electricity for it. But it's a bed with no air loss valve, so you pump it up, and the minute you pop it out, it starts hissing out a bunch of air, so it's really hard to get it super tight. And when it's a queen-size bed, which we had, you're bouncing each other around all night long like a waterbed. Many of our neighbors had holes in their beds. We also had to go wait in a super long line to get our linens. And it was just kind of a mess getting there. And there's the side-by-side of what it should have looked like and what it did look like. So there's a line to get to the linens, and people were already hot and angry because we just found out about a huge bombshell. We got back after we finished inflating and setting up, we suddenly realized it's super hot. Wait, where is the air conditioner? Maybe it's just not here yet. It's delayed. We didn't know. All of a sudden, we hear outside, neighbors are yelling and walking around confused and all like straight up WTF. We had just got an email right here from Insomniac itself, telling us basically no air conditioning's coming. Basically, the email we all got from everybody was, with the move to cooler temperatures in October, We removed AC cooling units in an effort to create a more sustainable event for 2021. Okay. Some of you may have purchased tickets before the date was moved from May to October, and we understand that you may have expected air conditioning units. Once we changed the dates, we amended the individual lists of amenities for each campsite on the website. We apologize that this was not updated on our policy page. That's because they did not update it. We have temperatures forecasted in the 70s all weekend and cooler nights, which will still create comfortable conditions in the campgrounds. The pool is open for anybody who needs to cool off. Please let us know how we may further assist you. We can't wait to see you under the electric sky. Those who do not know, this is the pool. About 2 feet deep. There's 2 of them side by side, packed at all times. Anytime I was there, it was completely packed. And I get what they were doing. They were trying to trying to make it, less bad than it was. So we all go online immediately and check the website, and sure as heck, they just altered the amenities list online to no longer show the AC part. I know this because I checked on Tuesday before we left to see what the power strip could power, and it said each unit has enough power to power the air conditioner and the power strip. There's enough voltage going into each unit, not to bring large speakers and overdraw power nor alter it in any way. When Insomniac officials were asked about this, they claimed when people were given the option to stay or move from 2021 to 2022, they amended it and removed the AC. This was a clever cover. However, when people started pulling up proof of what had happened, apparently they upped the game, and I guess reports of Pasquale himself showed up to address the matter. I didn't physically see this, so I cannot confirm this. But the gist of it is campers basically tore him a new one about it, and he left. So to be fair and clear, we, myself included, didn't really care that much about the lack of air conditioning itself, but we wanted to be compensated for it. We paid a lot of money for it, and had we known, we would either stayed at a hotel or at the very least been better prepared. I mean, we weren't aware that you couldn't leave the festival grounds after arrival, or the campgrounds, after arrival. We didn't even have a cooler. So absolutely no way to stay cool. I'm not mad that they changed it. I'm irked that they did it at the last second and then tried to cover it up and lie about it and offered nothing in return. Whether it was due to running low on festival funds due to the pandemic and the failed May 21 launch, or simply not enough attendees, they should have been honest months ago and told us. I still would have come. Just would have been better prepared and not blindsided. So there are 4 choices here of what you can get. You got the Moon Glow, which for $1,100, you get air, power, it sleeps 4. You must provide your own bedding. It's not really ideal for people flying. Cushy artificial grass, hanging lamp, exclusive in-out privileges. It's not. This is not ideal if you're flying into Las Vegas, due to the simple fact of all the bedding you'd have to bring, or you'd have to go buy it all while you're here, and then you'd have to get rid of it afterward, or sell it to somebody, or donate it. So it'd be a big incurred cost. The next 2 options is the Desert Rose options, which there's 2 options of 2 twins or 1 queen. This costs $1,500. It's the most expensive one, and it includes the shelter system, cushy grass, power strip, small hanging lamp, queen or twin size. You also get bedding, 2 lockable zippered tents, which everyone has. Access to GA Plus toilets inside the festival, which I did not know about before. So I bought a GA Plus ticket before I got the camp ticket. And apparently there was a dedicated Desert Rose EDC check-in. I didn't know about that or see that, so that may have been there. That really wasn't an issue getting in anyway. And you get the in and out privileges, so you can actually leave the festival and go back into it as you please at night. And of course, you can barbecue and all this other stuff. And you get the good toilets and the showers. And then the last option, of course, is the RV, which that's pretty self-explanatory. You bring your RV with and get it get it hooked up, and I think that one was around $500 or something like that. And you have to obviously provide your own RV on that one. So for those of you who are out there saying, get over it, 70 degrees and all that, yes. It was like 40 degrees and I think 36 one night and freezing at night, and 79 to 80 degrees during the day. Now keep in mind, this is air temperature. We are in Death Valley after all, and the direct sunlight beaming onto the tents, which did not have the flies on Moch, which actually reflected the heat. It actually raised the temperature to around what felt like about 100 degrees by 10 a.m. Basically saying there will be minimal sleep. Between the festival ending at 5 a.m. and the after party going until 10 a.m., you'll have a couple hours of maybe broken sleep at best. Unless you do as many did and set up sheets outside in between the tents, take naps during the day and rest. Because outside, not enclosed in there, the breeze wasn't bad at all. But being inside there is just impossible even with the windows open. So back to the main point here. After the telling off and Pasquale leaving, he had a post sent out in the middle of the night to all people who were upset about it. This came through as a text message, basically saying, to our campers who expressed disappointment that AC units were not included in their shift pods. Due to the forecasted temperatures for this year's EDC, we decided not to deploy them when the festival moved from May to October. Shift pods are designed for the heat in the desert. That is why we chose them for Camp EDC. If you're unsatisfied with your shift pod accommodations, you may receive a refund and then exit the camp. Get your refund, please clear your belongings and go to the check-in area between 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Friday. Basically, if you don't like it, goodbye. That was pretty cold-blooded. That was at 1 o'clock in the morning. Basically day one of EDC. So basically the situation wasn't handled very well. And I'm not going to continue on with the AC situation because we did pay for it and we should have got it, or at the very least been compensated for it. But I mean, it is what it is, and it didn't affect my time there really, other than, the first few hours. It was a little bit stressful and everyone else is kind of rousted up about it. But after that, it was a good time. So that's the last we're going to talk about that whole situation there. But I suppose now that we're already on the topic, I suppose I'll just finish with the downfalls of a Rush festival first, and then I'll move on to the incredible parts of it. And yes, there are a lot of incredible parts. I know it doesn't seem like it yet, but it was absolutely fantastic. So first up, we'll talk about the bathrooms. They were in fact air conditioned, at least the ones over by the RV parks and closer to the Speedway Road. Those were all air conditioned. They were pull-up semi-trucks converted into multi-stall toilets. Same with the showers. You get in there and it has, I think, 12 shower heads with dividers and curtains. They're actually pretty nice, especially for camping. Now, the issue was they did not keep up on cleaning them. There was consistently 2 to 3 toilet trucks down due to clogging and flooding. I guess my wife was telling me that the girls' toilets and showers were much worse. Like just filthy and clogged at all times. And the air wasn't really working in them. There was also a serious issue the day before the camp opened. They drilled into a water main and shut down the entire area's water supply. Now, this was an accident and most likely unavoidable, and they did send out texts about it. So, I mean, they did their part. Hey, campers, water main outside is broken. While it's being fixed, we're deploying porta potties for you to use. We'll keep you updated. Free water stations, bathrooms, and showers will be back up and running. So there's no problem with that. However, the problem was there was no contingency plan for this. And not about bathrooms or showers, but drinking water. So the people that arrived later in the day, yeah, it was fine. Water's back on by about 3 o'clock. But those of us that got there at 10, it was super hot out, and we had no water with us. We had no cooler or ice or anything. Our only option was we were told you need to go buy the $6 bottle of Dasani water from one of the vendors or $14 smoothie because nobody else had water to make any drinks with. They should have had flats of water driven in like ASAP once they knew it wasn't going to be fixed in time to give out to the people until it was repaired. I mean, they should have taken care of that. I mean, that was kind of botched on that. But, I mean, they got it fixed, like I said, about 3, maybe 3:30 in the afternoon. And after that, we had good water. We were able to take showers and cool off. And everyone was able to calm down after that. So from then on, it was good. The last issue, though, and this one is the most serious of all, and it really, really irks me. I know some of you might be like, oh, this is going to be great, but it's a double-edged sword, and that was security. Yeah, exactly. I know what you're thinking right now. Like, really, bro? You're complaining about lack of security? Normally, I would agree with this. However, when you're talking about, according to numbers, 450,000 total attendees over the weekend, and you're camping in a tent with 2 travel locks protecting you in the middle of a desert with no cell service. Oh, yes, your cell phones do not work out here. Especially with Verizon, but other ones don't work either. You'll be able to send and receive calls, no data whatsoever. But security is very important with all that known. I already mentioned entering camp was no good, but the festival itself, oh my goodness, absolutely laughable. Not a single pat down, at least for us, the camp goers. We had a separate gate, and security was literally joking about hide your drugs well to make our jobs easier. I'm like, you're serious right now? Like, they absolutely did nothing. I don't know if they didn't want to touch anybody or if they were just trying to get everyone as quick as possible. But again, they literally like squeezed your bag and sent you away. Not sure what exactly a squeeze is going to find. Any sort of drugs or weapons could have made it in with those type of checks, and they did. They really, really, really did. Now, I'm not going to slam or judge anyone out there who uses drugs to enhance their experience. What you do to enjoy the festival is your business. With that being said, when it affects my experience is when I take notice. I've never in my life seen this many people using. And it was outright, like, literally scary on day 3. To be honest, people were passing out in the middle of Rainbow Road. Zombie walking all over the place, just staggering about, stumbling about. Eyes were completely gone. You could just tell they'd completely checked out. We had one lady showed right up and sat directly on my wife's lap. Her eyes were completely glossed over and tried to get extra friendly with her. When she passed on that offer, she then got up and just moved over to the next person on the bench. And that was that. I mean, that was the type of stuff we were dealing with in there. And this was in the VIP area. We also saw a girl shaking, leaning up against the gate right in front of us. Thankfully, the great insomniac medics and the Oasis teams and the ground teams were out there, and they found her immediately and checked on her. But I mean, I'd heard reports of a guy, heard about this after the festival. He had a 110-degree fever, unconscious on the ground of the main stage. Alone. I saw more stretchers going through the crowd than ever before. In my past experiences here, I don't think I've ever seen anybody actually taken out of there via stretcher. I thought, reports usually were quite low on overdoses and fights and dehydrations. Usually people just needed to go take a rest for a little bit and they were good to go again. But this one was pretty intense. I mean, day 3 was quite the sad one at the festival due to this. Though I know these things are done at festivals all the time, the past times I went, I barely noticed it. Security did a much better job of catching it before, and everyone seemed more sober, not even drinking, really. I'm sure it was just everyone post-pandemic getting out there and just turning up way too hard, but I don't like to see people in terrible conditions like that. I mean, if you're going to do drugs, at least, know what you're doing and how much you're taking. But to be found face down, and sadly probably with brain trauma all alone, is the saddest thing ever. And I mean, like, where are this guy's friends at? I mean, you got to stick in groups in these type of situations and help each other through it. And this isn't even the end of the issue. So I will give you some context for those of you who do not know. Campers, we can leave and come back as we wish. They got to scan you in and out with your wristbands. This one's actually my 2019 one. But yeah, you could scan in and out with your wristband and get back in and out of the camp. This is how they kept the main crowd out of the secured campground, because we had a dedicated entrance that the main festival goers could not use. This was because unregistered people could enter, destroy property, steal, hurt, and all that would fall on us campers. Because if our tents get wrecked, it was our deposit getting taken, because we had to place a $250 deposit on them, and not the person who showed up and tore up the tent. And yes, by the way, there is lots of theft. You need to be very, very careful with this. You, follow some simple tactics. It's pretty easy to avoid, but I know I read somebody was arrested with over 200 cell phones in their possession. Like 200, that is a ton. So now, back to leaving the festival on day 3. There was a huge backup getting to the camp. Usually there wasn't. I mean, usually we're able just to scan and walk in and they check our wristbands. But this one was due to the previously mentioned medical emergency, I guess. Police had everything blocked so they could get these people out of there. But then all of a sudden, the whole crowd moved into the camp. And not one single security personnel was inside. Campers, randoms, everybody got in. This was completely unacceptable on so many levels. I witnessed there was violence. I witnessed a man screaming and shoving a girl who was not a camper. And that turned into a huge situation I read about later. I'd have to find the exact article on that one, but that was no good. I myself had a girl, super sketch, wander up to our tent asking to use my cell phone, claiming she was scared and didn't know she was staying. I'm like, this is the final night and you do not know where your tent is? So I offered to take her over to the ground team people. She then got super fidgety and said they scare me and took off running and vanished. Any number of bad things could have happened due to this lapse in duty. This all comes down to my stance of the festival was super rushed and very, very under budgeted. And sadly, I think the costs were cut in all of the wrong places to adjust for the budget. Security, camper comforts, air conditioning, amenities, and general staff, both in the camp and the festival, were lacking. I mean, a lot of the staff was quite friendly, but there were some that they looked like they were called in that day and had no idea what they were doing, nor did they want to be there. So, for those of you who are thinking, there are good things on all this? Yes. There's so much to cover in that department. 2021 is just going to be chalked up to a one-off iffy festival. This is not the normal experience. Veterans, please comment below about the 2018 and 2019 camp experiences to confirm that this is just a one-off situation. And normally the lineup is absolutely spectacular. This year, it was good, but it was limited due to COVID travel restrictions for the artists. Staff is usually super on point. Security as well. Like I said, TSA. And you feel very, very safe and loved. This year is, kind of sketchy. The first 2 days were good. Third day, no. Everyone was going off hard that day. I will, however, like to say again that the event response team and the ground team and the Oasis guys, the medical teams, were super on point, constantly traveling around the festival and checking on anyone and everyone who appeared to even be slightly out of it. All right, so enough of this rant. I just want it all to be aware before making a purchase. If you have never been before, I don't want your first experience to be tarnished because I suspect if it is indeed budgeting that caused these problems, with 2022's festival only being a few months away, it could end up being a bit lighter on the staffing and security and stuff as well. Again, this is just me speculating, but needing to refund a whole bunch of people who couldn't make it and that huge failure to launch in May. I mean, if he was already setting up the show and had artists booked and everything, that might have been a huge loss for Insomniac. So I have a feeling that took a huge budget cut, and that's where things suffered. So, I mean, hopefully everything's good and I'm completely wrong about this. But just in case I'm not, be prepared for that. Okay, so here's a breakdown of how my trip under the electric sky went. Day 0, which is Thursday, the day before EDC. After we got all that drama sorted out and everything was calmed down, we went to explore the Mesa, which is the main hangout. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's the center of the entire camp. It's absolutely massive. And I mean, what is it, like 10 square miles, the entire campground? I mean, I'm sure I'm wrong, but it's huge. And I mean, it's a huge parking lot. It's a speedway parking lot. They fully astroturfed it. They set up thousands of tents and built the Mesa, which is where you enter. There are 3 huge tents in there, which have lots of activities on them that you can do all day long, from yoga to dance lessons. You can even learn how to shuffle. They do spa treatments and they do hair and glitter and glam yourself up. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, and they did a fantastic job setting this up. I mean, with all else aside, they did a really, really, really good job getting this set up. I mean, that just the AstroTurf alone, that had to have been just insane amount of AstroTurf and people setting this stuff up. But yeah, so you walk in, you get past these tents, and then you come up to it, and there it is, the Camp EDC globe, which looks even better at night. I mean, it's just so, so cool. Beautiful fountains around it, and just kind of everyone taking pictures in it. And then also right after that, there's this really cool sculpture garden in the back there where just kind of everyone hangs out. It's just a place to mingle, take selfies, and just, relax in general. On the back side of the mesa is a giant Ferris wheel, which the camp main stage right in front of it. There's also a roller rink over here for skating. There's that thing was pretty cool. There's tons of shops with cool handmade items, as well as like neon rave gear and all types of other handcrafted materials. There's also a VIP upgrade booth, which do it. Absolutely do it. There's a giant slide, merch booth, general store, the cool sculptures, like I mentioned, in the middle of the mesa there. Then, of course, there's the Pirates Cove pool, which is 2 pools about that big. It's about just under knee high. And it was packed at all times, all day long. And then, of course, there's the food row. And while we're on that, the food, I thought was absolutely amazing. I mean, I had tons of good dishes. They were expensive. I mean, it was anywhere from, I think the average is between $15 and $17. But like, we had this place, this teriyaki pineapple chicken rice bowl joint was amazing. I had it, I think 5 times easily. As well as a couple other places. It was really, really, really good. I liked it. The globe again, and then we're going to come up to these activity tents that I was talking about, which are just giant, sprawling, shaded tents. And then we'll just take a little stroll down the main drag. The festival gate is directly ahead of us. And I really, really, really liked the camp layout. It was a beautiful presentation, and it looked like a lot of time and work went into it. It's cool at night. They glow up the roofs and everything. Desert Rose has orange over it, and the Moonglow ones has purple black lighting the roofs. So, on that note also, campers and neighbors. I thought our neighbors were super chill and friendly, and I'd like to thank our neighbors actually for loaning us their spare cooler. Man, we absolutely would not have made it through without that cooler. I mean, that absolutely saved us. Since they sell ice at the festival, it was great. We went and got that. We were able to get our water from boiling up to a decent drinkable temperature. And I mean, that's what EDC is about, sharing and helping one another. And I just thought that was a really, 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 really cool thing. And then day 0 was kicked off right with a humongous party. I mean, John Summit and Dom Dalla tore it up into the late hours of the night, kicking things off right. I mean, this thing was banging and booming. I mean, everybody in the camp was in here this night. Man, everyone was just dancing and having a good time. Lots of people hula hooping and just getting down to it. So now that'll bring us to day 1 now of EDC. And I woke up super, super early this day. And I mean, like 6:30 in the morning, because it was cold. It was freaking cold that morning. And I mean, it was like 36 degrees out. And the linens they gave us was like the paper thin sheet and a little bit thicker comforter for it. So I was forced to go to the merch booth and get one of those fancy Camp EDC blankets. These things run about $80, but to stay warm, absolutely had to be done. I mean, it was thick, it was nice, it was quilted. I actually still have it, and it actually helped a lot. Plus, it made our tent look a lot fancier. And on that note, I also got to see a super, super cool sunrise, so that made it all worth it. I mean, those are one of my favorite things at EDC, leaving in the morning when we used to drive back to the strip and the sun coming up. I mean, things were different now, obviously, because being October, the sun doesn't come up for a little while after that, another hour plus after it normally did. So we went back to sleep for about less than an hour, and then we were awoken by EDC's own personal wake-up service. This happened both Friday and Saturday, both 8 a.m. sharp. Just teams of 4 taking off, immediately hitting the boom and right over our heads. I think the Air Force Base is just a little bit away from there. I mean, I think it's just like a mile or two on the other side of the speedway. So the heat kicked up around 10 after that. So we kind of just chilled at the mess of that day. Got some shade, just kind of kicked it until the festival began. Sat there watching as from our view of the stadium, taunting us as it approached. But at 4 p.m. sharp, 4:45 sharp, we were all in line at the gates, ready to enter the festival, and this was incredible. 5 o'clock precisely they opened, and we entered through the concourse and came through the entryway to see the most beautiful sight, exactly how I remembered it. The Cosmic Meadow. The first sights of the festival, nobody was even on the ground yet. We were one of the first ones in there. I think, it was John Summit opening up. Got to enjoy him once more. I think he had like 5 or 6 sets between the camp and EDC. It's pretty intense. So we sat there and watched him for a while. Got to enjoy a couple other artists while we waited for the opening ceremony, which that starts at 7 p.m. So yeah, we were there for a few hours before that happened. But when 7 p.m. came and the fireworks blew up that sky, it was absolutely beautiful. It opened up. All the gates finally opened up to the main area, and everyone took off running into the festival. However, we made our way back up into the concourse, actually. For those of you veterans know why we did that. But for y'all first-timers, I actually recommend you don't even arrive until it's dark out. In May, it's usually a little... No, May, it's about the same time. But October, anyway, 7 o'clock is when it got dark. And this is my wife's first time, so I needed her to have that breathtaking, wow experience of walking through the doors for the first time and seeing the electric sky lit up. And that is exactly what we did. It's a completely different experience than the video that was just played coming in during the day. And I mean, this here doesn't even do justice. I mean, I'd say it's 100-fold this in person, in real life. Just feeling that bass hitting you and just blowing your mind when you see that first bit of light. I mean, yeah, that's just getting chills looking at it again. This thing is so cool. Just a sprawling metropolis of lights and rides and music and people. It was just so cool. They missed their dog. So this night we had quite a bit of time. We had actually a lot of time before the first artist took the stage, so we decided to go on a little tour and check out the festival. We went down Daisy Lane. Decided to walk up Kinetic Road and check out the Stereo Bloom stage. Just see in a minute there. I mean, you can see this is kind of the entrance to the festival there. Daisy Lane is like the main drag into the to the back of the festival, so to speak, because Cosmic Meadow is separate from the rest of it. That's kind of where everyone's staged until 7 every night. Yeah, they did just such a cool job doing all these sculptures and designs and lighting everything. I mean, Stereo Blooms off to the left over there. The really cool daisies lit up there in the sky. You definitely can't forget the Tower of Fire, which is just an insane concept in itself. It's literally just, I can only imagine kerosene or napalm or whatever it may be firing out of this thing all night long. They have the little ones, and then they got the big boy there. Outside of this, we also checked out the Pixel Forest, which that is really cool. Make sure to check that out when you go. And then downtown EDC, which is my first time actually checking out that area. I'd never been over there. That's where like the wedding chapel and the karaoke bar and like the sideshows and all that stuff are at. So Friday actually marked the 2 artists that blew me away more than any artist I've ever seen. And the first of the 2 was the first artist we actually saw, which was right at 11 p.m. We made our way over to the Quantum Valley. And shout out to all the dreamstate family members out there. And then she appears, easily the most gifted singer in the trance world. It is none other than Halion. Her 1-hour show, she sang completely live. And I mean, just blew us away. Killing us. Fire, everything, and lasers. It was absolutely gorgeous. And her voice carried just as good as it does in the records. It's absolutely been a dream of mine to see her for a long time. So she did not disappoint at all. And after she got done tearing it up there, actually an OG took the stage. None other than Mr. Paul Van Dyke. But sadly, we had to leave to rush all the way across the stadium, which, a note on that one, that'll happen a lot to you. So you got to make sure to plan. Because going back and forth from Kinetic Field to Neon Garden or Quantum Valley, that's easily a 15, 20, maybe 20 minutes even if commute if you're, in heavy load of people. But it's also a lot of walking. You got to make sure you're not blowing out your body on the first day, because I mean it's a workout doing this. However, this had to be done because we didn't actually know about this until just hours before, and now it's on Twitter. It's a super good show at a sideshow, one of the little art carts. Lennon decided he was in town. He was just going to show up and start playing. So they put him on this itty bitty cart designed for maybe 1,000 fans out front, and easily 10,000 packed right in there. I mean, you couldn't even get close to it. We actually had to cut through the VIP area and come out on the side of the stage here to be able to see him. The people in the back had a double whammy because they could half hear him and half hear Kinetic Field because Chainsmokers are right next to him ripping it up. I mean, they have really good aesthetics and acoustics in there, getting everything aimed right. So the audio isn't hitting you in other stages, but I mean, this stage wasn't designed for you to be standing back as far as we had to initially. I mean, where we're standing here, it's good, but any further back than that, yeah, you're hearing the main stage, you're ripping it up. So that was a really cool little experience. I'd love to see him anywhere and everywhere we can. So that was kind of fun. Little art cart and his little posse up there with him. But then something truly remarkable happened. We actually made our way over to the Wasteland stage, and I didn't know what to expect because, if I'm being honest, I've never been there. The only stage I've never been to. It's because I wasn't really a hardstyle fan, and that's what the Wasteland stage is. It's part of the bass con, and it's, the bassy hardstyle stuff. However, this this set changed my mind and took the spot for best set of the entire festival. And it was Lady Faith. She started her set, and all of a sudden we looked to our left, and thankfully I was recording, and we see this owl in the sky. I'm like, did this dude seriously do a drone presentation? Literally a full countdown. And then lo and behold, right behind her stage, the full force of the EDC fireworks went off. Just blowing up all of the sky. And this girl, she didn't even bat an eye. She just doubled down and tore it up like it was the last rave on earth. It was truly, truly amazing. She is a passionate professional. And if you want, I put the full video on my YouTube channel, which you could check out because unfortunately, sadly, they did not record this stage. And I can't use sound in this video. But I have the real one with the sound uploaded on my channel. Just absolutely crazy. So after what we just processed, we processed everything, what we just saw, and we made our way yet again across the stadium to see the Legend of Trance Legends, which was our final set of the night, and that was the fantastic and great Marcus Schultz putting in work in the dark trance fashion. And as usual, he came with all the bells and whistles, fire, lasers, lights, and did I say fire? I said fire. I've seen this artist more than anyone else on earth, and I still am in shock each time I see him. I think this marks maybe 15 times or something like that I've seen this guy. Both in festivals, clubs. Is absolutely insane. Anyone who does not follow Marcus Schultz, you definitely should. He's called dark trance. It's kind of like a tech trance type thing. Very bassy, but at the same time, he's still got the huge swells of a trance tracks. There's your fire. Now, we actually ended up having to go back after this set here. We decided to go in a little earlier. The wife's feet and legs were hurting a bit, which is to be expected the first day. However, if you don't have good shoes, you're definitely going to be in real trouble. I mean, I've been with friends each time that have not worn great shoes and couldn't even walk the second or third day. Because, I mean, you got to keep in mind, you are not standing in grass or in a field. This is asphalt. It is a speedway. So high-end comfort shoes are an absolute must, and I'm going to throw out a little plug here. We use shoes from a company called Kuru. The website there, I will also put it down in the description. And I've used them for years due to one of my feet being destroyed and not being able to stand or bend it right. These are actually designed for the plantar fasciitis, that terrible, terrible nerve disorder for your feet. So they're designed to literally, you break them in and they cushion around your feet. And it felt like I was walking on clouds the entire time. I've had no issues. Like, my feet did not hurt at all after this festival. Hers were brand new. She hadn't broken them in all the way, so they were a little bit sore. But that's okay. I mean, we got back around 4 a.m. and we went to bed. Woke up off and on, of course, the entire night because of the rave, which was like 3 blocks away. But it still banged through the tent like there was 15s right outside the tent. I mean, it's absolutely so bass heavy. It was insane. So day 2 of EDC, we decided to chill at the Mesa, going a little bit later because we were going to go all night tonight. 'Cause there was a lot of superstars present that normally do not make their way to America. So I have footage of all those coming up here. But we got up nice and early and went out and got some food. I got an amazing, amazing stack of French toast. Look at this thing here. It was smothered in strawberries. It was the most delicious thing ever. It was also a dairy-free. So it was great. Mine on the left there, dairy-free. And that thing, I think it was like $11 each. But I mean, it's 4 pieces in there. And I was full for like ever. Like, I was not hungry again. And of course, we had to have our lovely wake-up call again. EDC alarm clock, like clockwork. No pun intended. So, we ended up showing up to the festival about 8 p.m. that night, I think. And we made our way right to the Kinetic Field VIP area because we decided we'd ride the Ferris wheel this year. And this is the first time in 4 years of going that I've actually gone on a single ride. And absolutely magical and completely worth it. Like, this was so much fun. And for those of you asking, is VIP actually worth it? Well, let's just say I will not go again unless I'm VIP. Separate bathrooms, food, and elevated viewing areas are crazy nice, but the best part is what you can see right here. And you got the VIP lounge areas, which is right below us, that you aren't getting crushed by a massive crowd. This is 1,000% worth the extra money, guys. It really is. And they even sold cake. I mean, just look at this view from up here. It's absolutely amazing. After this, we had to, we got down just in time at the end of our boy Jason Ross playing there. We had to hustle over to the base pod, which was the only stage, actually, that we had any type of issue with VIP. I was going to mention that. There was no issues getting into any of the VIP areas with the exception of this one. It was only because it was so packed. Like, definitely overly packed. Just because there's who was playing there at that moment. I mean, I don't think anybody expected the capacity to be that big. Of course, it was...
Hands up! Hands up, Vegas!
None other than Shaq Diesel. Just absolutely blew me away. I had no idea what to expect with him. I'd seen him at Ultra on the Ultra live feed. And you never know what to think when a big celebrity goes DJ, but geez, he's taking this seriously and he is killing it. So I recommend anybody who has any chance ever to see Shaq play, please check him out. He will not be upset about it. It is dubstep, but it is, oh man, he took it to a new level. I mean, he even ran down into the crowd here. I mean, there is a fence between him and us, but still. Shaq's out of control. It was definitely one of the more memorable experiences there. All right, after that, we boogied right back over to the main stage, and we got up back into the VIP, and this was the main reason I got it, was for the Sky Deck portion of it. Not the marquee Sky Deck, but the VIP version of it. Because it's for the main event, and for me, I mean, this is the main event of EDC for me. And of course, at 12:05 a.m., the lights go out in Kinetic Field, and you could it was so silent, you could hear a cough in the crowd, and this was the biggest crowd I've ever seen at EDC. Music came up, and the sky just exploded, and it was none other than Tiesto. Just took it all over. Fire, lasers, lights, fireworks, just ripping up the sky. 90 minutes, and by the end, the GA and VIP was wall-to-wall people. Mind you, this is actually the biggest stage by a huge margin, so this is tens of thousands, if not over 100,000 at this stage, at this moment. This is just wild. I mean, he gets, of course, the full carte blanche of all the effects. I mean, that had to have been truckloads of fuel just for the fire. And of course, right after that, they do the, every night they do the fireworks display, which is really cool. They even shoot the fireworks up saying EDC 25. They do this every single night, and this is at so it was 90 minutes. Was this 1:35 in the morning? It's a very specific time, but it's because of the length of time it is. Yeah, only in Vegas, so you're gonna get 1:30 in the morning fireworks display. I mean, each night rivaled most, major cities' 4th of July or special fireworks celebrations. I mean, this experience in itself is just crazy. Like, that makes it worth it all in itself. I mean, just beautiful. Yes, this is from the Sky Deck in the VIP, looking over the GA crowd. And they're firing off again behind the Wasteland stage. And of course, yet again, we ran all the way back down to the other side to Quantum Valley to see another OG that came up with Tiesto in the trance scene. And this is Ferry Corsten. He already had the Quantum Valley pumping by the time we got there. I mean, this is my 6th time seeing Ferry, and it was just as good as the first time. I mean, this guy's truly, truly, truly legendary. And again, check him out if you guys get a chance. He's been at most EDCs that I've ever been at. I think every one of them that I've ever been at. Definitely very groovy trance. And I thought this stage was pretty good. I feel like it needed more lighting and effects in here. And I'll cover that a little bit later here in another topic that I have about the aesthetics and acoustics. This is the one stage that there's any issues with. However, what I do love, though, is the VIP area. Because it's there's only 2 lounges. One is at Kinetic Field, and the other one is at the Circuit Grounds / Quantum Valley. So it's like an area you walk into, and it's separate. Nobody else can get in there but VIP. And you got like the nice bathrooms and everything like that, and you can get food and stuff in there. But one side of it, you can get to the Quantum Valley there and watch Ferry. But then all we had to do was turn around and walk 50 feet to the Neon Garden to see something I've waited years to see. And this is Charlotte DeWitt just tearing up the Factory 93 stage. And this stage was super cool. It's like I stepped back into a 90s rave, like a hidden underground warehouse. It was like serious magic seeing her play. It was like really, really magical seeing this night. She's one of the ones I was mentioning that's not here very often, so it's quite the experience. And this was an overpacked, if you want to say sold out. Like even the VIP was very difficult to get in and get any type of viewing. They had changed the stage from previous years. Now in 2019, it was literally like an open area. It's kind of like they had lots of plants and cool stuff there. I remember I saw Idris Elba play there back then. But they moved it over a little bit, so it's a lot closer to the Quantum Valley is now, and I think that's part of the acoustical problem. After that, we finished up on our way out. We'd check out Dabin, kill it over at Cosmic Meadow. And we head back for the night. And day 3, we showed up at Open because I wanted to see Blossom kill it. And then, even more importantly, Z-Trip, which those of you out there who actually know who he is, it's one of the few remaining turntablists. And man, he is killing it, scratching everything, dropping in track after track, layer upon layer, using old school turntables, actual records. He brought the heavy. It was freaking awesome. After that, they opened up the final night of the festival. We spent a few hours checking out Daisy Lane again and, checking out some of the fun stuff we didn't get to until now. And we had to make our way back to the Cosmic Meadow eventually, so we had to check out Toki Monster. And man, she was rocking it too. I liked her set a lot. And we left that a little early. Had to go check out Cascade, bring the full Redux to the main stage. And that's where things got kind of weird that night. I was talking about the day 3 problems. It was, following the fireworks display that night. But we still made our way anyway. Had to get back to the Quantum Valley to see the boys in action. It was Cosmic Gate, followed immediately straight away by Ali and Fila. And they are like magical trance entities. They are just both of them. The Egyptians and the Germans both just brought the lasers, brought the heavy, just totally rocked it out. They had the famous Exploration of Space track. If anyone doesn't know who Cosmic Gate is, these guys are really, really cool. They've been around for, I think, 20-something years now. So, yeah, they're really, really good. I'm glad they're still around killing at these festivals. After this, we made our way back. Back to Kinetic Field. However, we stopped at the Circuit Grounds for the first time of the festival because I wanted to check out Mala. And that was That was fun and interesting. I mean, he's intense. Show up in the desert in a full ski mask. I mean, it's awesome. But yeah, we had to go boogie out of there so we can get back and check out Afrojack back-to-back the rehab. Just totally lit it up. And Pasquale actually showed up on stage there from what I saw for some photos. And then, of course, the final set of the festival to close out the entire thing, it was the magical future bass of Slander back-to-back, Said the Sky. And they had a closing ceremony at the main stage. And then, sadly, it was time to leave. The after party was going long into the morning. I mean, we checked out at, I think, noon on Monday, and John Summit was still killing it out on the in the campground stage. And on that note, checking out was actually very easy. I mean, you just had to clean up your tent and zip tie the door shut with these little zip ties. So yes, checking out was easy. However, leaving was quite difficult. They only have deals with Lyft and Uber, so they were all waiting there, but there is no cell service. So we were literally stranded out there, could not do any of that. And the only people who were showing up were kind of like, I don't know if you call them sharks, but they're showing up there, you know, cash only, we'll give you a ride. Well, nobody had cash because this was a cashless event now. So we ended up getting lucky and a cab showed up out there, and of course, it was an exorbitant rate, but I mean, we had to because we had to get back to the Strip. It's where we were staying for the final night. So, I mean, I guess be prepared for that. That's kind of like the downside, really, of doing the ride sharing is you're kind of at the mercy and with no cell service, and the attendant out there was not very friendly and didn't want to help anybody with that. She just wanted us all out of there and out of her roadway. But it eventually got worked out, so I hope everyone else was able to get out of there nicely. So I do recommend driving, renting a car if you need to, if you fly in. It's spendy, but I mean, you end up able to do things like go to Walmart if you need to get supplies and get out of there at the end of it. It kind of sucks. You rent a car and pay all that money a day for it to sit parked in a parking lot the whole time. But I mean, I think we still spent $200 or $300 anyway just on the ride sharing. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the extent of that. So my final assessment of the festival, I think Pasquale and Insomniac put on an absolutely incredible show. This year, EDC did not disappoint visually. Certainly not. There were a couple of aesthetic issues, like I was saying before. Specifically, the Quantum Valley stage, it was simply too close to Neon Garden and Circuit Grounds. It was literally wedged right in between it. Like, you had Circuit Grounds over here, Neon Garden right here, and then in the very back right there, you had Quantum Valley. And their speakers were overlapping it, so there was only a couple of sweet spots that you could be at to hear it right. And even the VIP was directly under the speakers, so it was really loud and bass heavy. I mean, the stage is bleeding in. That kind of took away from the effects. Plus, Quantum Valley's the Dreamstate stage, which is all trance. And trance needs lighting and atmospheric effects. That aside, though, I feel like the stages were really set up well. I mean, the actors were really fun and friendly. I mean, you had the go-kart girls out there driving around, all swerving in and out of people, picking people up, taking them across the festival. You had, your clowns and everything else out there, guys on stilts, and it's made it really enjoyable. It made the long walks definitely better. Now, you hear Carnival and you think it's going to be overpriced and low quality food, right? Wrong. It's actually all very good and very reasonably priced. Both the camp and the festival itself. I myself would personally strongly recommend the Woodfire Pizza car they had in there at the festival. It was about $20, but you got a full 10-inch pizza. And I mean, it was absolutely fire. I mean, it was fire grilled, but I mean, it was also just the most delicious thing ever. And I mean, you also got a heck of a deal for the average for food would be about $6 to $20 each. I think that's about standard. I don't think there was anything over $20. Maybe actually there was a hibachi grill in one of the VIPs. I think that one was over it. We did have that one night, but for the most part, it's about 6 to 20. And I mean, you're full. I mean, I think we only ate once a night there. So I mean, I thought that was good. But the best thing for me anyway, and for all you other Red Bull junkies out there, it's only $4. Yes, and you guys know the struggle. If you go to clubs or anywhere else, they're normally about $6 for the 8-ounce can. These were $4. I'm absolutely shocked and blown away by that. Then you had your alcoholic beverages. They range from about $8 to $22. Soda, of course, higher than everything, $8. Your beers, I think, were about 12 from what I saw. I don't drink myself, so I couldn't tell you for certain, but I think that's what I saw on the board. Of course, you got the merchandise area, which ranges from $5 all the way up to $85 each. And this will add up fast. Let me tell you, it will add up fast if you're not careful or don't properly plan. For example, we didn't have extra blankets or towels since we didn't know what to expect for October weather. The EDC blanket ran us $80 and $40 each for those towels. So yes, it adds up super, super fast. And then finally, you also got water, of course, and these are $6 each bottle. So do yourselves a favor and spend the $20 to buy a Camelback or a hydration pack before coming to EDC, because then it's free. They have water filter stations, are super filtered. I mean, these filters are crazy on there. You fill up as much as you like at no cost. There's very little lines. It saves you money and time, because then you don't have to leave the stages very often either to go refill, which the first year I did not have one. I had bought one of the canteens, and I was having to cut out of the stages all the time to get more water because you need to stay hydrated. That is like the main golden rule there. That's why it's so cool to give it out for free. And in the end, of course, like I said, security and staff definitely needed needed serious attention, and that cannot happen again. All in all, I would still highly recommend this festival to any and everyone. Just do your research and properly prepare for the trip. I honestly feel like the issues will be ironed out for sure by 2023, if not by 2022. I mean, Pasquale has been known to heed reviews and advice from fans, so I have definite faith in him. Now, probably the more important point of this entire video. That is, of course, what should I bring for a normal year? You definitely want great shoes. Your feet are absolutely going to hurt. So you definitely want the great shoes. You need to have a Camelback because the water's free and you do not want to be filling up bottles all night long. It takes up no space in the suitcase if you have to fly. Just drain it, squish it between your clothes. You're all good. Wristbands. You absolutely don't want to forget these. So make sure you double and triple check, because without these, you are quite literally screwed. Don't be the person that gets to EDC, shows up with no wristbands, because you're going to have a bear of a time trying to get in. They're pretty serious about not replacing those. I mean, I think I heard you can get a replacement one time, but you need to have all types of documentation to do it. So yeah, don't forget those, or your lanyards if you're camping. So you need that the little lanyard to get into the camp in the first place, and then they give you a wristband following that. Yeah, you definitely want to check out make sure all those things are good to go, and check again when you land. And keep them on a carry-on bag just in case something happens to your luggage. Earplugs. There's absolutely no shame in doing this. Protect your ears. Some stages are crazy loud. Like, especially the bass pod. Like, oh my goodness, that thing is absolutely insane. Other things you probably want to bring, I recommend leggings, both men and women. Doesn't matter. Again, no shame. Staying warm is more important. They're thin. They can be worn underneath shorts or anything else you want. Plus, if you need to take them off because you get hot, they go easily in your Camelback. Same with this, like a thin-insulated undershirt, long sleeve. Same thing. I made the mistake on the last night of just wearing my t-shirt, and I was frozen. Like, it can seriously wreck your experience at the end there. Because, I mean, it could drop into low 40s at night. So definitely be prepared with that. You also don't want to be walking around with a giant hoodie either, though. So, you know, that's why I recommend the thin undershirt there. Definitely need a battery pack. I mean, they do have charging stations and stuff, but that's a pain. Your phone's going to die because it has no service. And you'll probably be doing videos and pictures and everything all night long. Also, make sure if you're texting your friends, timestamp all your messages. Due to the number of people, messages could be delayed up to hours, and you never know. You want to say, I'll meet you at the pizza joint, and you get there at 11, and they don't get the message till 1. They show up there, have no idea where you are, and then it's just a huge problem. Do not send videos to anybody until you leave. Data is literally non-existent, and it's just going to murder your battery. You definitely should go in groups. Keep an eye on one another. I mean, I definitely camp. I'm telling you, those hotels are a huge money suck, and they're time-consuming commute time. And with that, you're also going to want to make sure you get your hats for both nighttime and for camping. I mean, we got the little lovely straw hats for it. It's really nice keeping the sun off of us, not burning to death. Also, with that note, sunscreen. Do not forget sunscreen because you will burn. This sun is different than the rest of America anyway. This is directly Death Valley. I mean, you're getting scorched very, very quickly outside. And of course, don't forget your candy and your bracelets and those fun things. Be festive and share with others. So the next important question is GA, GA Plus, or VIP? So those of you asking, which tier of ticket should I get? VIP is so much more expensive than GA. Is it really worth it? And what about GA Plus? To answer this, I'll start by saying I did 3 years of GA in the past. And I bought GA Plus this year. And I decided to bite the bullet and upgrade to VIP immediately. When I got the day before I arrived in Vegas, I upgraded to VIP and went and picked it up when I got here. Best decision of my life. Now, GA is perfectly fine if you're a first timer or a hardcore raver who just loves to dance and immerse themselves in crowds. It's definitely the cheapest option. I mean, it's what most attendees choose. I chose it for years. You still get free water refills and access to most of the food and exclusive access to the porta potty clusters hidden in the far reaches of the festival. GA Plus, however, absolutely is not worth the extra $200. No way, shape, or form is it worth it, especially if you're camping. Because the main draw is you get expedited entry into the festival, and campers already have dedicated entrance to the festival, and it goes fast. And the only other perk is that you have access to some of the VIP restrooms. Seriously, that's literally about it. However, VIP, on the other hand, if you want the true experience, definitely choose this path. Yes, it is $400 more than GA. However, what you get is worth so much more. I mean, you get dedicated VIP viewing decks at the Connect Field and Circuit Grounds, dedicated dance areas at Cosmic Meadow and the other ones, exclusive lounge space at Neon Garden with dance space, food, games, and more. EDC VIP info booth with concierge where you get your VIP lanyard, the VIP Ferris wheel, which we went over, the dedicated VIP fast lanes to get into the festival. Oh, I'm sorry, and for the carnival rides located within. Body paint and beauty bar. You can build there's a candy building station, an interactive VIP photo op at Kinetic Field, Circuit Grounds, and Neon Garden. Water refill stations like everyone else. Fresh juice and coffee options available. There's the dedicated food trucks with vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options, which are in the Kinetic Field one that you just saw down there. And right below where we were just standing, the Beats and Breakfast. It's complimentary breakfast from 4 to 5:30 a.m., we miss this every night, so I didn't actually get to experience it. But includes fruit salad, orange juice, bagels, bananas, pastries. First come, first served. You also get VIP mobile charging station lockers. And you get the expedited entry, of course, air-conditioned bathrooms located at those stages, bars, cell phone charging stations, and chill zones featuring areas to relax, refresh, and rehydrate. And actually in the main area there was lots of nice couches and stuff you could sit on right there at the main stage. There's like super plush chairs and everything. And we were really comfortable. I think we sat there for an entire set eating our hibachi that night. It was very, very, very nice. Plus, super nice cut through to other stages. I mean, like I said, we were able to get in to see Elenium. We probably wouldn't have been able to had we not been able to cut through there. And I think the most important bit is it's a place to step aside and catch your breath, because dancing for 12 hours a night in huge crowds is no easy thing. And I feel VIP is far less crowded and has safe places to sit and just chill out for a bit. We never had an issue entering VIP ever due to capacity, aside of the one for diesel, just because the base pod was overpacked. I mean, it was absolutely loaded with people. So, I mean, I sincerely hope everyone here liked this video and it was informative and helps people decide what to do. I really wish I had this kind of video my first time, because this wasn't around back then. And I mean, I don't want to scare anybody off with what happened with the camp and all that stuff. Like I said, I think it's a one-off, but I do feel like it needed to be addressed because it was a serious issue. And I feel like there might have been, I mean, there's mixed reviews out there of what actually happened. I think it's absolutely great. I think camping is great. It's fun. I just don't want anyone to expect, glamping when that's not what you're going to get. It's camping. So you need to come prepared for camping. Even if you get the Desert Rose, which I don't recommend after doing it myself, I definitely don't recommend that. Because all you really get is a bed and linens for an extra $400. It's definitely not worth it for that. The $1,100, however, for the Moon Glow, super worth it. Especially if the air conditioners are put back in it, because it's the same as the Desert Rose at that point. It's nice and cool. You just bring your own blankets. You stop, like I said, rent a car, swing off to Walmart, get some supplies and stuff. If you're flying in, maybe get a disposable cooler from there, something you can get rid of at the end, like a foam one or something, or they have good return policies, or you don't mind, somebody you can leave it with or sell it to somebody on their way out. I don't know, just come prepared for it. I know flying in makes things more difficult because you can only bring so much on the plane, but regardless, you can definitely make do as long as you're smart about it. Just do not skimp like we did on it. Get plenty of stuff. Don't just get snacks. I'd get a little barbecue grill or whatever, because you're allowed to have those in there, just so you're not spending, $17 per meal multiple times a day. Make sure you got plenty of blankets. The ground is soft. I mean, we were laying on it all the time outside, so the bed really isn't necessary, and you don't need fancy bedding, I don't think. So I feel like they did a really good job. The festival itself was top-notch, as usual. The visuals were out of control. He absolutely went all out with the lighting and stuff. The VIP was great. Food was fantastic. The actors are good. Aesthetics, it's pretty good. Security, garbage, but I mean, that seems to be what's going on with festivals right now, and I hope that gets worked out. And I know everyone's been out of work for a long time, so it's probably hard to get people back into it, and people are scared of COVID, and they don't want to, be touching everybody. But I feel like they eventually here, when this all kind of settles down a little bit more, I think it'll smooth out, and you'll be able to get, proper staffing in there to take care of business. I know EDC Orlando just ended. I was hearing good things about the security going on down there, so there's hope. And strongly recommend it. I would like to go again in 2023. 2022 is a little bit too soon right now, because the other festivals I'd like to check out also, but definitely a fifth time coming up here for EDC. That'd be super stellar. I mean, the main stages are always super cool to check out. I mean, this year went back to the Owl at the Moving Head. It kind of reminds me of the one from 2014. That one the Wings moved to. But yeah, no, tons of stuff. So yeah, go ahead and leave some reviews down here. If you like the video, also make sure, please subscribe. Click the bell. Check out all my other links in here. I got other videos. Produce music. I do weekly trance radio show, Transcending Reality, and that link is down here in the description also. And just, lots of cool stuff. And I mean, this is my first real big vlog, so bear with me if it was a little bit juddery and kind of off. But I mean, I hope to do this again. I'm actually enjoying this, and I'd love to review more festivals and other musical related stuff. So hope everyone has a good time. Stay safe out there, and leave some feedback. See you guys in the next video.